Patrice Louvet. He's the chief executive of Ralph Lauren. Patrice Louvet, thank you so much for joining us on The Pulse.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you.
On a pretty impressive year. Now, Ralph Lauren has always been intimately tied to sports. You're here also for Wimbledon, which is really a business case in making sports more attractive and having the eyes on the spectators wearing Ralph Lauren.
That's right. So it's very interesting. Actually, Ralph Lauren's been inspired by sports for decades. It's foundational to really our heritage. If you go back to the naming of the company in 1967, Ralph hesitated between polo and baseball. So for us, it's at the heart of who we are. We also want to really weave the brand into the fabric of local culture. Yeah. And sports more and more, as you know, is a key part of that. This is our 19th year with Wimbledon. We have partnership with the U.S. Open, with the U.S. Olympic team, with the Ryder Cup.
Which you kitted out.
Which we kitted out, so cannot wait to be in Paris and to see that during the opening and closing ceremonies over the next few weeks. And listen, we're finding it's very powerful for us to engage with the younger generation of consumers, really showcase the brand and the brand stories that we have. And bring just a different level of energy to the brand. And we have, I think, a unique approach to sports, which is we don't just look at what happens on the pitch or on the court. We also turn the camera to what happens in the stands and how people are dressed and their styles.
So, Patrice, does that translate into sales? And again, we've seen, similar moves. LVMH, for example, is very involved in the Olympics. I think the medals will be also put on trays. So you were one of the first to be close to sports. Do you see like others are now trying to play catch up?
So it has a very meaningful impact in terms of brand equity. So I have very clear numbers, for example, as people who are aware of our Wimbledon partnership have a higher perception of the brand, of our quality, of our luxury positioning than people who are not aware, which is obviously an encouragement for us to continue to do more of this. Listen, it's exciting to see other players come into this space, right? And I love the fact that Ralph was a leader in this space and that others are now following our lead.
So where do you see everything going? You've tried to elevate the brand.
Yes.
How difficult is that? I mean, some of your rivals are actually, struggling because of price rises. Is there a healthy appetite for luxury consumption?
From what we see, our core consumer is very resilient, and that's true in Delhi, that's true in Tokyo, that's true in New York, that's true in Miami. What's really playing out for us is the brand is really resonating with consumers right now, and both the boomers and the younger generation, the Gen Zs. We have a multiple growth driver strategy, which means we're not reliant on one market, one consumer group, or one channel. And you attach operational discipline to that, and you see the results that the company has been delivering consistently over the past few quarters.
What do you see strongest? The U.S. consumer? I mean, there's elections. I don't know whether that impacts actually consumer demand or whether that high-end luxury is untouchable.
So what's been interesting over the past few years is this VUCA world that we live in, right? I think is our new normal. And I think the company's been able to demonstrate its ability to navigate a volatile environment, whether that's in the U.S. Obviously, we have European election results here in Europe. We've had elections in the East as well. And I think as we stay focused on continuing to elevate the brand, engage with that younger consumer where he or she wants to be engaged, leveraging the breadth of our lifestyle portfolio, right? We're not tied to one product category. But this company is about living. Ralph and I always talk about the fact that, we talked this last time we were together, we're in the dreams business and we're about living. And I think as we do that effectively, bringing to life our story, our messaging, our quality to consumers, we are seeing that our core consumer continues to want to engage. And while the headlines on the luxury space can indeed be concerning, we are not experiencing that in the way our business is developing.
And so why do you think that is? Again, there's a number of other players that are trying to get into the home business.
Yeah, I think the core values that have been with us from the very beginning, think authenticity, timelessness, quality, those resonate everywhere. And during times of volatility, what we know is consumers will gravitate towards brand and products they know, brands that provide quality, brands that they know they can wear today, and products they can wear today, but also in 10 years. And I think this element of consistency, there's a lot of discussion around quiet luxury, right? And that really fits nicely what Ralph Lauren is about. We're about timelessness. We're not about the latest trend. We've got a very clear purpose, a very clear set of values, and our job now is to just continue to execute with excellence at every touch point.
Will the logos become smaller, or is it you have the Ralph Lauren collection and then the polo? I mean, again, this quiet luxury, it takes a couple of years, I guess, to catch up.
Yes, it's been interesting to see the evolution of the size of logos over the years, right? And actually, when I started in this job, my son said to me, as long as you have large logos, I will not engage with your brand. So that resonated with Ralph and I. It's less about the logos. It's really more about your core values and what we really stand for. And authenticity has been a key to Ralph's success ever since he started this company. And we look at everything through this lens of, are we authentic? So the partnership with Wimbledon that we talked about earlier, is very authentic to who we are based on the Wimbledon values, our purpose, and we're being very choiceful in everything we engage in. Make sure we're showing up authentically.
Patrice, how's China doing? I mean, China. We talk, almost day in, day out here about the fact that the economy is not doing as well as expected. Is this still one of the kind of the core markets that you need to get right?
So I'm happy to report China is doing very well for us, and I continue to be very bullish on the mid and long-term opportunities for China. A couple numbers: last fiscal year, which we just closed, we were up 30%. Off of plus 23% the prior year. Last quarter, we were up double digits. China today is about 7% of the company. Used to be around 3% before COVID, so we've got nice momentum. But when you look at our luxury peers, the penetration of the China business is much higher than that. So I think we have significant runway. Our consumer continues to respond really nicely. We are able to recruit new consumers, both men's and women's. Our product lineup is resonating. And I think this is the combination of global assets and propositions and values that connect with the Chinese consumer, and also really good local execution. We have a partnership with Mr. Bags, for example, who's a local celebrity on handbags. That's actually really been playing out very well for us. We only focus on top 6 cities so far, so there are more than 6 cities in China. Significant runway for us.
So is that your biggest, I guess, if I ask you your biggest challenge for the next 12 months, are there any acquisitions on the table that you'd be looking at, or is it expansion in certain countries?
So our strategy is really reliant on multiple drivers of growth, on the brand side, on the product side, on the geographical side, and channel side. We have significant growth opportunities across all of these. So M&A is not a priority. We stay open to what may come along, but we believe that we've got significant growth opportunities for many years to come within our current strategy.
I mean, 2 of the most famous department stores in the U.S., I think, merged very recently.
That's right.
Does that make a difference to how you see the U.S. retail space?
So U.S. wholesale has been challenged, right? And actually wholesale, even here in the U.K., has also been challenged. I think for us, as we look at this merger, I mean, they've both been historical partners for the company for many, many years. We have very good relationships with both of them. Stronger partners, healthy partners are a good thing for us. So I'm hopeful that coming out of this merger, we'll be dealing with Saks Global, which will be an even stronger entity, and that'll help us further develop our business together.
How mindful are you about price increases? Again, we've seen some of your rivals maybe increase prices by too much, and there's been a bit of a backlash. I mean, what's the right way to calibrate it?
We're very mindful. The filter for us is value perception. Right, so actually, if you take our average unit retail over the past 5 years on our elevation strategy, our average unit retail is up close to 80%. And yet, our value perception and luxury perception is the highest it's ever been. And we track this every month in all of our key markets. I think as long as we do a good job elevating the product, elevating the storytelling, elevating the consumer experience shopping online or in store, we will be able to continue to increase average unit retail. Our pricing obviously has been a bit higher, like-for-like pricing, a bit higher over the past 18 months because of the input cost increase, particularly the significant increases on cotton. Now, as that is abating, we will not be as reliant on pricing moving forward. But we continue to have product mix, channel mix, geographic mix that contributes to the growth of our average unit retail.
I don't know whether to put you on the spot and ask you who's going to win Wimbledon.
Well, we talked earlier. I'm a huge Alcaraz fan, but ultimately what I hope for is just incredible matches, both on the women's side and on the men's side, so that they continue to see ratings grow up and significant visibility for the tournament, not just here in Europe, but actually around the world. We know this property is resonating everywhere now.
Wimbledon is pretty special. Is there another thing like Wimbledon that you'd like to be involved with?
We really like the partnership with the Olympic team, because our purpose is to inspire the dream of a better life. through authenticity and timeless style. And I can't think of a better connection than this young kid who aspires to be an Olympian and the journey that they have to go through. So we've been partners with the Olympics now. This is our 9th Olympic. It started in 2008. And I think that really captures the essence of what Ralph Lauren stands for. And we're very excited about that. But, you know, we sponsor the U.S. Ryder Cup team, the Australian Open, the US Open.
So we're not going to have a new partnership on anything that we haven't heard about yet.
Absolutely. And you and I talked last time we were together gaming, right? We sponsor the T1 team, the G2 team in gaming. So we want to be where our consumer engages, where their passion is, and what's authentic to us.